Today we will talk about Bitcoin breakout, the Solana price action in detail, and when Altseason. Bitcoin scenario 1 is in play, if you were here for the previous video. Did you feel how powerful it is to lay out the 3 scenarios? Then it becomes super easy to identify which of them is playing out. It takes the entire stress of trying to predict the future away, which is impossible anyway. I hope you felt it. Said already in the last video, that remains my main scenario from here. Very happy news! Not only did we confidently hold 112k, we broke up the 117,300 resistance. If we go on shorter time frames, you can see here that it was indeed at that level that there was some hesitation, but then it punched through, meeting the original target from this inverse head and shoulders despite the fake in between. This big candle here yesterday for sure had help from stocks, which hit all-time high yesterday, and gold, which also hit all-time high yesterday. You remember I talked about those two as clues to what Bitcoin will do. During 2025, Bitcoin has severely lagged gold. This is Bitcoin price divided by gold price. During 2025, gold is up 48%. Bitcoin is up 26%. The ratio is down, as you see here. Diagonals are not an exact science, unlike horizontal price levels. Like here, did it break down or not? And that is even more apparent on the next chart, which is Bitcoin versus stocks, where I usually prefer the S&P 500. If we go back a little in time, you can see how neat this was. And now again, from end 2018 back here all the way to now. But has it broken? Here's the problem with diagonals. I can always redraw it like this and then it's still intact. So which one is it? It's impossible to say, but if it dumps further like this, there is no way to redraw this still intact. Same like last time. You couldn't redraw this in a way that it was still intact, while keeping all these contact points. But if we go back to daily candles, fact is that Bitcoin has lagged stocks in a quite weird way, just like it has lagged gold. Now over to Solana. This chart was a shock to me actually, and probably my biggest oversight of 2025 to not spot this earlier. So what you see here is Solana market cap versus BNB market cap. And as you can see, every time during the past almost 2 years that SOL reached 100 to 102% of the BNB market cap, it gets a big fat slam on the head, pushing it down quite a bit, slam, dunk. 3 times it surged ahead to about 130%, but the same slam on the head came, just a bit delayed, still pushing it way down. The last time was 14th of September. Here, 14th of September on the SOL to BTC chart is here, and you can see that's where this rather big retracement started. Here is 14th of December on the SOL to USD chart. I was looking at this ratio, SOL to ETH, and of course that was useful. SOL to BTC has been useful, but nothing comes close to the usefulness of this chart. And what happens after the slam on the head is also interesting, because it got pushed down either to this level, 79%, see here, so many times, or to this level at 69%. Probably not a coincidence, either a bit below the even number of 80% or 70%. If someone had a stop loss there, they will be taken out. So what is going on here at this 102% level? The obvious claim circulating is that Binance, which is the biggest validator, takes the validator rewards and dumps those SOL whenever this ratio reaches. And the biggest validator is indeed Binance. But is that really plausible as the full story? I have consulted my two colleagues, Chat and Grok. Chat calculated Binance staking rewards 2025 to 927,000 SOL. Grok got it to 871,000 SOL, so almost same, about 900,000 SOL. So remember this now, a bit below 1 million SOL. Now, how much Solana has the treasury companies bought in 2025? Chat got it to 13 million SOL, Grok got it to 21 million SOL if we include Galaxy Digital, otherwise about the same. Galaxy Digital isn't a treasury company as such, but has also bought a lot of SOL in 2025. Galaxy Digital buys 300 million in Solana. In the past 5 days, Galaxy has reportedly acquired 6.5 million SOL, worth around 1.55 billion. So somewhere between 13 and 21 million SOL bought in 2025, compared to the less than 1 million SOL earned by Binance through their Validator. So guys, when you hear a narrative like this, do a minimum of quantification. We don't need to get hung up on the details of the numbers. It doesn't have to be exactly right. We just look at the magnitude. So clearly there is more to the story here than CZ bad. So how on earth could Solana be basically flat through 2025 even against the dollar when the treasury companies bought 13 to 21 million SOL and Binance, the villain, only got 1 million in staking rewards? Because if we then start looking at not only Binance, but at all the validators, and also take into account that they can keep the SOL they earned previously. So if we look at all the validators and cumulative SOL earned, the numbers now get 100 times bigger than just Binance staking rewards 2025. Again, my two assistants disagree a little bit on the number, but that number is somewhere between 90 and 150 million SOL. Don't get lost in the details here. We look at the magnitude, and turns out that even the top 10 validators now only make up 20% or so of the total rewards paid out to Solana validators since the start in 2020. So now you see who holds the power here. Treasury companies 13 million, validators much higher, 100 million or more. It's the validator entities, and it's a bunch of them. Perhaps the ETFs will provide it, but we need to keep an eye on the numbers and not only on the narratives. And short term, it just bounced here. I have increased SOL today because of it. Next, Altseason. I don't subscribe to the idea that there won't be an Altseason this time, because institutions are so serious. Nah. There are real people behind those institutions, and they are the same as everyone else. Both the total crypto market cap is going for another attempt of the breakout, and the chart that's called Total 2 is as well. That's crypto total market cap excluding BTC. Also going again for another breakout. You can see it here. Bitcoin dominance had a solid bounce on this level, which wasn't random, guys. We had this drawn before it bounced. It came all the way from here in 2019 and 2020, where it also bounced there, before going into this full out Altseason. If you were there, you'll remember it fondly. So it had a bounce, but the trend is solid down. In previous cycles, first Bitcoin pumps, then Ethereum, then the big caps, then the medium caps, and then the small caps. And the money making possibility and the money losing possibility, if you don't know what you are doing, is increasing at each step because the swings get wilder and wilder. Look how high the Bitcoin dominance still is compared to what happened in the previous cycles. I'm not doing predictions here, and no need for them. We have the charts in front of us. I will always react to what actually happens. And for something like this to happen, Granddaddy Bitcoin needs to be stable in his bed, shed the market fear of the cycle top being in, so that the market goes full risk on, max greed. That's when this chart can start dropping at the same time as Bitcoin holds stable or goes up. I'm very excited for the time ahead. I'm gearing up. Thank you, tack. City och Larsson out.